Well, afternoon, guys. What's going on? It's 2:20 in the afternoon of a Wednesday. Thank God it's the day after July 5th. Actually, July 4th. 0238 the Weaver Agency of Rosamond, California. And I, the Weaver named John Weaver, which would be me. All right. Questions in life, I guess. Politics enough galore out there for people to start screaming and yelling at everybody else and trying to figure shit out, and we're doing okay. We see the struggle, we see the strife, we see everything else going on. We hear people yelling and screaming at each other. I know what's going on, and I blame this and I blame that, and in the name of God, and everything else going on. And we have to do this thing in the name of God because everything else is in the name of God, and we cannot take these things because they are heathens and everything else going crazy. Oh yeah, there was proselytizing like crazy from crazy people. I swear. When I stay out of the churches these days. I really don't like it when a pastor or a theoretical pastor, when a politician pastor, is he a politician or is he a pastor? Well, looking at a senator from one particular state who was a preacher and then he wins himself a state. And he's not proselytizing against anybody else, but he's just acting like he's doing the best he can for his people. I got no problems with that. What I do have a problem for is a state governor, or actually an assistant state governor, who actually goes crazy. Trying to be a Reverend Big Mouth, as some people would probably call him, or judgmental as hell. We got everybody out there trying to be judgmental as hell, representing the so-called people and representing Christians and representing the Republican Party and representing this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, Christ would have a field day with us if he was still alive. I was reminded a few days ago, several days ago actually, a gentleman trying to ask me questions concerning about life while we were having the crisis of the fireworks the day before July 4th. And, you know, wondering about this guy, whether or not he was actually there mentally or physically, or did he just leave somehow, leave reality? He was still asking questions about why things were happening and why this is happening, why is that happening, why do we have to suffer as much? I gave an oblique answer because life is not worth challenging if we don't have these kind of things to challenge us. Yeah, oblique enough. Of course, in the end of our conversation, he's thanking me. He thinks I'm an angel. I'm thinking to myself, uh, I'm thinking judgmental at this point over here, and I keep trying not to be a human being. And unfortunately, we be humans. We judge. We prejudge. We both judge, but we judge. According to what we got going on inside that squishy brain of ours, of any other things that are happening that challenges us left and right. And the problem is, we're challenged, but we don't realize. We don't understand why. Why things are happening, why this and that. I had to keep. Something popped in my head a while ago today. What was it, Lot? There is pain, there is suffering in the Old Testament. Job. Job. Man of faith. Somehow in the story goes that forces of good and evil meet up. And a bit of pride, ego, or a declaration, forces of good, would say, look at my friend, look at my human being here named Job. Look how well he's doing. He's faithful. And the other guy's going, well, let's put him to the test, shall we? Let's put this guy to the test. You want to see how special things are. You want to see how special he is. Let's put this poor guy through the test here. Maybe there was something exchanged between these two. I don't know. But what the stories were written in the Old Testament on this one. This guy goes through, well, they explain the horrific things. I mean, how would you like to have your family looking at you very strangely, saying, why are you going through this thing? What did God curse you with? God's not cursing me. God's testing me at this point over here. Yeah, well, you got this physical malady. You got this social outcome happening over here, and mentally you're going nuts. Yeah, but I'm still alive. I'm still here. Well, we're not quite sure about that. We don't understand. And it's not exactly Job was being tested. I think the people around him are being tested. I mean, they may focus on one guy, but the one guy is usually a rubber band that wasn't wound too tight enough. Observation. It's the people around him, I think, are being tested more and more. More kept going over the story and looking at it from different angles at this point. Yeah, Job was the subject, but I think the people around him were the subject more than what Job was. Job was just the center wave. Everything else around that center wave gets hit. Put your pebble in a pond or stone, toss it into a pond, and you see the ripple effects. How does the ripple effects affect things around it, around the center area? Around the center area that's already been, evening itself out. But the energy waves are still affecting things around it. So how is this one center guy affecting everybody else, affecting their attitudes, their responses, as if everybody else around this guy is being tested? Not just the center, but everybody else. And that's one way of looking at it, I'll tell you that much. Because how does the people how did the people look at me if I want to be using myself as an example here? I hate to put myself on the center table here and say, look at my situation here. I'm like, no. Let's put it in a perspective here. Let's put it in a context, okay? Let's put it into a situation where we can actually understand what the hell's going on here. Yeah, I've had a lot of stuff happening to me, and yeah, I'm belly aching about it a lot. I get emotional about it, and I'm freaking out about it, and I'm going through a lot. So, okay, I understand that. I understand that feeling. I understand that there's a lot of things I don't understand. I have to admit it. I don't understand why. But things happen the way they do. And I got no control over it. Okay, fine. I got no control over things. Both good and bad. I don't. But it's my responses to that stuff I do have control over. I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. I'm okay. I'm surviving. I'm doing. There are other people who are questioning why things are happening to them that they have to laugh at it, and they're going through a lot, and sometimes it's just hard enough to hear what's happening, and you're telling them to breathe when you're trying to tell yourself actually at that point to breathe, because you're responding to that person's situation. A gentleman who has been undergoing medical situations even while he's trying to be a cruise director and trying to be a friend to everybody else. He's going through a health major situation. He's a cruise planner. He goes on a lot of cruises left and right, and he's going through housing situation he thinks he's got taken care of. He's already lost a family member near and dear to him. You may have heard about this guy. If you were in the cruising industry, you knew this guy. I mean, you know him. I'd seen this guy a lot of times on YouTube. I've never met this gentleman, yet I feel like I'm connected in a small way. I can feel his pain. I can also feel him struggling, and also feel his strength. He tries to show it with a lot of people, and I know inside he's scared shitless. And that's all right. It's supposed to be. And I keep thinking, when we get tested, when we get poked and prodded, when we are getting battered and beaten at this point over here, it seems like we're being put through another forge again. That we have to be re-strengthened somehow, reshaped, commissioned into something different, purposely or maybe not. But I figure in the fate of the universe, once the universe is working on this one, and powers that are greater than us, they have their say, they have their way. We don't. We have to deal, we have to cope, we have to survive, we have to react. And he's trying to react the best way he can, and he's getting overloaded. And I know a lot of people are going, pour it on, pour it on. Even me, I'm going, breathe, pal, breathe. Getting tempered. Question, why? We try to find a purpose. We try to find logic. We try to find something that we can latch onto that gives us something that we can either argue with or say, okay, well, and leave it at that. There have been a lot of things I've been thinking about that at times, and I have to keep questioning myself. Why am I going through a lot of things here? But knowing that if I keep going through this way, just keep questioning, well, but why? I'm like, okay, what am I looking at? What am I thinking? What am I putting myself into perspective? I'm thinking of myself a long lost child who's worried and scared and terrified, who wants to get a source of strength, of encouragement, but also clarity. Why? It reminds me in the Garden of Gethsemane, if we're going to be going to the good book again at this point, Christ made known throughout his life that he was going to be made to go through trials and tribulations. And in the meantime, he was going on what he was supposed to, what he assumed, or what he knew, that God's work was supposed to be this and this. He felt it, he heard it, but he didn't quite understand the final purpose. I guess in a reflection of Gethsemane, he was seeing everything else filtering in until it made sense. That moment of clarity. It may have given him maybe the split second that he needed to breathe, to understand, to realize, to sink it in. And then it's like, okay, now I get it. That's probably where we have the issues with concerning about we increase knowledge, we increase sorrow. Because we understand that our time here on the planet is limited, one way or another. But during that time, if we can make a difference in someone else's life, one way or another, somewhere in time, if we had made changes, if we had did something special for people, we won't see the effects, the immediate results of it. We're not allowed to. All we know, we step up. We breathe. We deal, we cope, we surrender into whatever the fate it is, and just let it ride. See what happens. Humans, I don't think, can understand things beyond our own self because we see with our own squishy brains. We try to reason with that squishy brain of everything coming into it and make logical deductions, reasonings, and everything else going on. For example, try this one. How long can you wear a pair of sweatpants until it decides to fall apart? Shake your head on that one, why don't you? I've got sweatpants that have been 3 or 4 years old, And sometimes they do have little micro tears in there, but they still hold up. They still hold up, no matter how many times I keep washing them or wearing them for long periods of time. And they still hold. I'm still wearing them. I switch them out from time to time. Get wear uh, enough stench in the damn thing. You can only nuke it with so much right guard, and then you can put them in a wash and hope they'll still hold together. When they actually do hold together, it's like, my God. But you also see the wear and tear, and you're saying, oh my God. But they're still wearable, just not embarrassing. They're doing the purpose. They're doing the function. All the way up until the end of their functioning. After that, I don't know. I know everything else to be recycled in this planet. And sometimes it's used up. And maybe recycled for something else down the road that we can't decipher or understand. Now, my friend out there who's going through the medical situations and going through what he's going through, I know you're not a religious man all that much. But the thing of it, guys like you who try to put up the veneer and facade. You do it because everyone else is not expecting you to. It's what you want people to remember you by. You still have a form, you still have a function, you're still living, you're still breathing, and one way you're still teaching. You face it with quiet dignity, despite the fact you're stressing out like crazy and you're still laughing about it. And inside, some days you're like, why do we suffer? Why do we have to go through these kind of things? Why? Tempered still. I am not much into metallurgy, and I'm definitely not much into sword creation, but if I understand metallurgy a little bit, in order to increase metals' durability, functionality, stability, strength, tensile, everything and everything regarding to it, you add to it. You don't subtract, you add. And in order to do that, you have to purify, melt the thing down a little bit, add more metal to it, reform, reshape, pound the living crap out of it. The smith will do whatever he can with his processing. We are tempered, we are reforged, we are going through the metal to the heat again. We are being blended, we are being rechristened, we are being pounded like crazy into another shape, into another form, or maybe strengthened into the same form, but maybe sharper, better, who knows? We have to occasionally get a grind on us left and right to make sure that the edges are keen and wickedly sharp. Double-edged sword. Slicing and dicing, and you have to be careful that you don't get nicked at the same time. But you're being repurposed. We look at life. I looked at my whole life as what? I'm not thumping on my chest on this one. I'm not thumping on my chest and trying to tell people what's going on here. Because to tell you the truth, I have been honestly scared to death of everything and everything. I've been angry at myself. I've been angry at everything, confused as hell, and just struggling for survival mentally and physically. And freaked out every time when there was people who are gone and I can't respond. Either I'm not allowed, I'm chosen not to, something. But I don't respond, and I don't break down. I still have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Urge of survival is in there. Urge of living is in there. Am I a source of strength for people? Am I a source for something of that nature? I don't see it. Is my life a miracle? Why don't I see it a damn thing in the first place? Because I'm too busy looking at my own survival at this point. I'm too busy trying to understand what the hell's going on immediately around me and what's the things I need to take care of. I'm not seeing myself as whatever. I know I grieve because I miss my family. I grieve and I feel like I'm the weakest person around because I depended upon them, they depended upon me. They're gone, I have to depend upon myself. Scariest and loneliest thing for me to go through. It is. I look at the pictures of my family all the time. I try to tell about their stories, their journey through life, through my own eyes. And it may be incomplete, but at least there are nuggets out there of how I went through life, how I may not be remembered. If that's the case, then so be it. Maybe I'll pass away like smoke like everybody else does. It's alright. Had my time. But until that time happens, I'm still living, surviving, breathing, and pushing. I may miss him a great deal, and I will, and I will grieve like crazy. Because once I get those trigger words going, I'm a basket case. I know I'm a basket case. Go figure it. I am a basket case. And at times, I know I can be judgmental through my own damn viewpoints. I look at things differently, and yeah, I do judge. I prejudge without really knowing. And sometimes I do make the wrong decisions that will hurt people. I really didn't mean to, but if I'm looking out for my own damn selfish interest over here, I'm not seeing the bigger picture. But if I am seeing the bigger picture, then I'm going to be hurting a lot of people. And seemingly a good rapport turns sour. And I don't like to go through that. This past few days have been testing and driving me nuts. Driving my dog nuts regarding the Fourth of July fireworks. Actually, for the entire last month and up to this point. Tonight is the remnants. It's the downhill. We were already peaked last night. Now we got to deal with the after effects of the damn fireworks that are still going to be going off, regardless, one way or another. I got so damn sick and tired of it. I got afraid. I got afraid of losing my apartment. My life, my mama's life, my dog, actually. And yet everything else will probably get burned up alive. Memories, videos, audios, computers, everything. Because somebody wanted to have fun and be stupid about it. Despite the fact I tried to make calls into a fire department to tell these people to knock it off or else there is someone watching. Also, I was trying to deal with the damn fireworks and dealing with memories and dealing with fear, smoke, things that are coming up that had been rattling in my cages more than one way. Dealing with a therapist call this morning didn't exactly help very much, even though I was trying to sound optimistic, laughing about things. Still inside, I was still fuming on it. I'm still feeling it. Certain decisions I've made, things I've set in motion, I'm afraid of the outcome. Someone once called me an angel. I'm no angel. I'm just one screwed up human being. I'm a fool. I'm an idiot half the time anyway. I know that. But if I have to fight what's right and I'm going to have to lose people left and right, I guess so be it then. I'm not going to like it. But whose advantage am I doing it for? Mine or a higher calling or a different calling altogether? For me, I have to confess a lot of things on video about things I'm afraid of. When talking about myself, I'm talking about both the good and the bad. About decisions made, about decisions beyond me to being made. I hadn't breathed a sigh of relief yet because the threat is still out there. And I'm still on survival mode. If I truly was an angel of God, why the hell would I be filled with so much fear in this one? Because if I was trusting in God at this point over here, I would be confident. I would have the courage. I would have the compassion, empathy, understanding of what was given to me that I have to deal with to take care of whatever it was. And trust that there's a higher purpose, there's a higher plan in action. But I'm a human being. I got no angel wings. And I sure as hell don't like to see good people getting screwed over because of a mistake that they made. Some things either better left alone or other things still have to be told. Consequences still have to be done. The fates have yet to decide. The fates of our universe, our existence, our decisions. Accountability, responsibility, transparency. I'm not liking it. Everything has a timing for it. Everywhere and everything has a timing. Mine sucks. Mine sucks. So, I admit, I'm a human. Besides bleeding red. I'm not about to cut myself on that one. Decisions I have to make affect everybody, one way or another. Decisions about health. I am not the stone, but I'm the epicenter of where the stone hit the pond. And the pond's still rippling. I have made an effect on everybody. I'm not the only one being tested here. I'm not the only one being affected. Anything and everything in that pathway gets affected. It's a result of decisions made. What happens if you put multiple stones into the pond? You'd see the ripple effects affecting everybody else. You see them bouncing off of each other. I'm reminded of that. My decision affects somebody else, which will affect something else, which will affect something else. It's not the domino effect, it's just a rippling effect. Anyway, I have to deal with what's left of the day, and I have to go forward. So whatever happens, happens. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. To that friend of mine out there, Mr. Don Terrace, Don's Family Vacations, Pond. Understand that one. I still have to keep learning that lesson myself sometimes. You have to do what you have to do for you. Understand it, and without putting the pressure on you. You're the center. Everyone else is getting affected. Good, bad, and indifferent. That's how it works. So before my other videos, I'm no guru. I'm no expert. I'm going by experiences left and right and understanding a lot of things. And no, I haven't been to the Himalayas and talked to the Dalai Lama. I haven't been to any church places that'll give me that kind of inspiration. No. Some things I just come across. I'll talk at you later, guys.